everybody, it's Pam and Bill at Country Living Newbie Custom Decor in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Look at this piece. Is this cool? So we just picked this up today. Actually, I think Susan was who we picked it up. Another Susan is who we picked it up from. Cute antique little vanity. I want to show you a little bit of what it looked like before. I'm going to move some of this. It really wasn't in too bad of a shape. We did a lot of kind of minor sanding. You know, there was just some imperfections in it, some glue and just some different things kind of sticking up. I had to sand a bit around where the hardware was, because when I popped it off, of course, it left kind of a deep ring. There were these washers that were on here. Actually, that's not one of them.
Were they on the front or the back?
Yeah, no, they were right there, but they were stuck. They were stuck on there. There's also one in the back, but it had these really cute, which we're not going to put these back on, but I will use these. Look at these little owls. Oops, hang on. Oh, what was that from?
Don't know, but
you
cute hardware.
You sanded the top.
Oh, yeah. You have to clean.
All right, so make sure you clean your top after you
All right, it's clean.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad I found out.
Amber is saying I sound a little better.
He's doing well,
Yeah,
huh?
I might cough a little bit later, as is usually the case as time goes on. If Pam does most of the talking, I should be okay.
Which is usually the case. So, yeah, just before we came, oh my God. Bill gave the top a quick sanding. So, yeah, we had a bit of sanding to do. This piece intrigued us. We couldn't quite figure out what was happening with it or what it was. And we kind of liked it, but then I thought it didn't make sense.
The trim on the back is blatantly an aftermarket.
This is
those are feet.
So, and then the way it kind of just cut off here and was, you know, it didn't make sense to us. So we popped it off about 5 minutes before the video.
Yeah, Pam was scared to death.
I'm like, oh my God.
She's like, I don't know what happens. What happens if underneath is a mess?
Well.
And it was kind of, but it was okay. You know, we just popped it off and.
A lot of glue. A lot of glue.
There were 2 holes on either side. I'll see if I can get close in. Where a dowel went through to hold probably a mirror. And so we sanded it down real good, and then we filled those holes with Dixie mud.
I'm not going to wet that, but...
The Dixie mud is still a little wet because we did it very, very recently. If you're doing, with Dixie mud, if you're doing superficial scratches, it'll dry very quickly, and you give it a quick sanding, it'll be fine. But if you're filling a hole, you cannot, it will not dry right away. You have to give it a significant amount of time, perhaps even overnight.
Yeah, I don't think we'll
for
get to the top.
For it to dry.
Geesh.
Yes, Debbie Thompson says much better without.
Yeah, I just think, like, I didn't mind it on there, but it wasn't the right piece.
It looked like you turn it upside down.
Man.
Because the feet were on the top. Michelle Wilkes saying hi.
Hi, Michelle.
Amber saying hi. Debbie Thompson, obviously. Deb Oliver saying, wait till I show up, it'll be party time. We're still waiting.
Now, when Michelle was in earlier, we were looking at this, and she said maybe it was a changing table, which would make sense if they put something on the back. You don't want your kid
Yeah,
rolling
possibly.
it off. So, and then we thought maybe we should keep it that way and do it in a kind of soft, you know, baby kind of colors, which I am kind of going in that direction.
The drawers are nice and deep and
Drawers are good.
and wide. You know, you could actually put the baby in the drawer.
Yeah, drawers are good. This one is really tight. So let me show you.
Tammy Burkle saying hello.
Hey guys.
Chris Hale.
Hey Chris. All right, maybe I threw it out. When you repaint a piece of furniture that's already been painted, if your drawers are pretty tight, you may have to sand off, because you're gonna be putting more paint on top, and as the paint's building, these drawers fit in, they're gonna get tighter and tighter. So I did have to sand off all around the drawer, and they had painted like all down the side and stuff, and I only go to the dovetail, so I had to sand all that off. But I sanded all the drawers, and then in here, the paint was really thick, like it was, like I could chip it off with my fingernail. So I sanded all in here too to make the drawers, give the drawers a little more room. They're still a little tight, but I think once we get the Big Mama's Butter on them when we're all done, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, most of the time this happens with inset drawers. If it's a drawer that goes over the top of the face frame, you're not going to have that kind of problem because people don't paint the inside of the face frame.
All right. Okay, so this is kind of a soft lavender. I feel like it has a little gray, maybe, in it. Maybe a little gray, maybe a little beige. It reminds me of like tea rose compared to soft pink, right? This is kind of, compared to lavender, this is kind of like that. If that helps.
That's what I was thinking.
It probably doesn't. Okay, and we're using, look at this transfer. So this is the translucent garden transfer, which I absolutely think is beautiful. We're not going to do this tonight because we need to wait. We'll only get one coat of silk on, so I'm going to get 2 coats on, and then I'm going to wait overnight before I do a transfer. But I think this one is going to go so perfect with this. So I want it super soft. As some of the colors fade into the paint, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned with, that it might, the transfer might just disappear with the color. But it looks like it's probably just enough, enough to stand out.
There's some greens in it. It'll be pretty. And then maybe some crystal knobs. So we'll see. All right, look at this color. Oh my God. Now,
Settle down.
If I was gonna paint this with the chalk paint, I probably would have bossed a lot of this. It's old, and we sanded off a good bit of the finish, so we probably would have had some bleeding going on there. But I'm gonna, hopefully the primer in the silk paint is gonna be enough to hold back some of this coming through. The first coat, we may get quite a bit of bleed through, and that's okay. That happens with silk sometimes. You just got to kind of trust it and let it dry. It's good, 4-6 hours. Do your second coat, and usually that bleed through will not come through.
All right, so what are we doing first?
Okay, oval medium, you guys know, it's my jam, my brush.
Our favorite brush.
Yep, so oval medium, big fat brush, holds a ton of paint. I load my brush a lot with silk. Wouldn't do this with chalk paint, but with silk, I find that's the best way to get it on. And there's just a lot of dust in here. I want to make sure. Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
And we're done.
That is so pretty.
Let me get down to your level.
Honey, I don't think you can go that
Literally, not figuratively.
low. You can go that low.
The hardware we choose is going to have to be...
I think I'm going to do crystal.
Yeah, you're saying crystal. What's the color again? Susan Gully is asking.
Susan, this is the new Morning Sunrise by the Silk color.
Deb says, is that your favorite brush to clean, Bill? It's my worst, it's my least favorite because the dang thing holds so much paint.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, as you start to clean it, there's at least like a tablespoon of paint just sitting in there.
These are my favorite kind of drawers to paint. They're so easy. It's nicer when you have the panel that comes out than the one that sits in.
Casey Harker says she just got her that same color from her retailer.
Oh, don't you love it?
She hasn't. I don't think she's used it yet.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do a little more here because we don't want to run out in the middle. And I pretty much figured if the holes are showing and we don't like the way it looks, I'm gonna take a little part of the transfer and we'll just put it over it.
Anything's going on back then.
It's hard to come up with those projects, guys. These ambassadors that do these regular lives, I mean, just try to think how many projects they have to be doing.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know, and with the products, they have to have certain, you know, pieces to do the product, to do the colors that are there and the transfers that they have to use. I mean, it's hard. But I just felt kind of bummed because it was so good. It was good for us to be on the Dixie Belle page. I mean, our business did very well, and it actually, we took a fairly decent hit online.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we stopped doing Dixie Belle. So it just took us a while to.
Yeah, if it weren't for Deb Oliver, we'd have been out of business.
Yeah, the online thing really dropped. Because, you know, we got a lot of new followers that way and that kind of thing. So it's fine. We're back. We picked ourselves up.
Yep. Nikki Brock says, I wish you were live every day. I kind of have a Pam and Bill addiction. Casey says she'd watch us over the Super Bowl any day. So does Trina.
Thank you, guys. We love you guys.
So would Deb Oliver. Mary Sharkey is asking, are you near Franklin, Tennessee?
Yeah.
We are.
We're very near Franklin.
Spring Hill. It's next.
So
well,
Thompson
two towns over.
Yeah. So come through Thompson Station, and then we're in Spring Hill.
Sit about, you know, we're only about 5 miles, well, 5 or 6 miles probably from where Franklin begins.
Yeah, the road's terrible.
So it's only about an hour and a half in traffic to get to us.
Yeah, there's one road, Main Street, we're on it, and it gets pretty bad. But yeah, is that where you are, or is that you just kind of know that area?
So where are those papers from again?
Decoupage Queen.
So somebody named Jamie Edgehill is asking, what's the difference between chalk paint and silk paint?
Chalk paint, so let's go backwards. Silk paint, which is what I'm using now, is an acrylic-based paint. The silk paint has a built-in primer. So where this wood is here, if I was using chalk paint, I would prime this because the tannins in this wood would bleed through the very porous chalk paint. So I would have to prime it. With silk, there's a built-in primer. So more than likely, it's not gonna come through. It also has a built-in top coat. So I don't know about you guys, I hate sealing. I hate sealing. You don't have to seal with this.
I hate floors.
This has a built-in sealer that's washable, UV resistant, and mold and mildew resistant. So it's great for like a bathroom counters.
The best thing about it is how smooth it goes on.
So you notice I have not touched my water bottle. If I was using chalk paint, I would be using that frequently to help my paint go on smoother and to make it go further. Silk, you don't need to use it unless you're spraying it. You just don't need to.
Thanks for getting it, Deb.
The sealing?
Yeah.
With silk, there's a little more prep. So with chalk paint, you always clean, regardless of either whatever you're painting with. You should always clean with your White Lightning cleaner. Rinse that off. And with chalk paint, generally you can paint away. I mean, unless it's real slick and you need to scuff it up or put a bonding primer on it, which is rare. I rarely use a bonding primer with Dixie Belle paint unless I'm painting marble or glass. And laminate sometimes. Where's I going with that? So with silk, you need to clean, rinse, and scuff sand, right? Silk needs a little more to grab onto. You want to wait longer in between. Silk is going to take minimum of 4 hours to dry, and where chalk paint, dries from the bottom up, and it dries fast. Silk dries from the top down, so the top is going to look real dry, but underneath it's not. I mean, it's definitely not cured. It's not bonded. It's not dry to your piece. So, you know, in an hour, I can go, oh, this looks pretty dry, and start painting, but I'm moving that paint along the bottom, right? So you can start pulling your paint. I want you to show, so this is bleed through. So bleed through doesn't mean like your paint, you haven't gotten full coverage and your paint's coming through. Bleed through is this yellowy, brown, oily stuff coming through, right? It's the tannin in the woods because we removed the paint and the sealer. So now it's allowing that stuff to come through. With silk, this is gonna look horrible when it dries, but when I do my second coat, this should be covered. This should be covered. Here's one that's dry. Remember it was bleeding through on our drawer because we sanded there? So you can kind of see it.
Kind of see it, yeah.
And the color, I'm seeing Bill, I'm seeing the camera, and guys, this color does not look anything like it does on the camera. This is a pretty lavender, so it's not coming through as that. Don't do a scratch test in a day and say, oh, my paint's coming off. Your paint's gonna come off, okay? They're water-based paints. The water has to evaporate. Think of the water evaporating and the paint bonding, okay? That's what curing means. Curing is different than drying. You need a month for your paint to cure. And if you're in Florida or somewhere else, you know, it could be longer. It just depends on your climate. But always give it at least 3 to 4 weeks, and don't give it a scratch test because it'll come off. It'll come off.
They say the concrete in the Hoover Dam in the middle is still curing.
Get out.
Yeah. Because it's so that they actually, they poured it in like 200 cubic yard sections, and then they would wait for it to dry and then pour another one next to it and pour. But it's the ones that are in the middle are just, and they never get any air, so they're still drying.
Kind of like the mud that's under here.
Yeah, that could be years before that dries.
All right, guys, this is the transfer we're going to put on top of it. It won't be for another couple days, but this is the translucent garden.
You want to hold up the actual?
Yeah. So pretty. Look at the colors in that. It's got some dragonflies and butterflies and really pretty.